Hi, it's Bruce Firestone here today. I'm here with Paul Field. Paul, say hi.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for taking time.
All right, glad to do it. So Paul and I are talking about the development of his for-profit and his not-for-profit business, and I just wanted to show him how Zoom works. But before I do anything else with it, Paul, do you want to just say for maybe give us the elevator pitch, 1 or 2 minutes on what you're doing?
So we run a company called Artshine as a social enterprise.
Right.
We teach education to mainly JK to grade 8 children, but we're also teach all ages, seniors. We do team building,
Wow.
Summer camps, lots of birthday parties. Our newest adventure right now is putting out a subscription service.
And talk about the subscription service.
So we've just started rolling this out. The first ones will be shipped in January 2020. We've almost met our $20,000 goal on Kickstarter.
Wow.
35 hours left.
Oh my gosh.
and we're about eight kits short, but we'll get there.
You'll get there.
Yeah, and this will be 2 different age groups, ages 4 to 6 and ages 7 to 12.
Perfect.
A monthly kit arrives with a URL to a video in French and English, or English, whichever one you choose. And then for every kit that's purchased, we give one away. So now we'll be able to give kits away and also tutorials away way up north where we don't
adopt a child, right?
Yeah, totally. So it's been, and we've surveyed our current customers with Artshine, the after school program, and over 70% of them said they were interested in this.
Fantastic.
So it's bringing art home, right?
Bringing art home. Is that your tagline? Bringing art home?
Well, ours is get one, give one. But that would be a great tagline.
So I maybe you just came up with that, but I'm a collector of good taglines. Like Nike, just do it.
Yeah.
Back in the day, Alka-Seltzer. I can't believe I ate the whole thing. That would be before your time. The taglines are really important, and maybe you just came up with that by accident. But bringing art home, that's a powerful slogan.
And it's a lot of people are asking for it, right?
Yeah. So you and I talked before we started this recording how important I think art is to enhancing a child's creativity, and it's creativity in the workplace that I think will be in most demand for the next, I'm sure for the next 100 years. So I think the mission that you're on is not just a good thing for the child, but it's a good thing for the child as he or she grows up and enters the adult world. I think it will give them tremendous potential.
Totally. Using your imagination, right?
Using your imagination and creativity and thinking laterally and getting to that third level of thought, I think that's really important. I'm going to tell everybody, because we're doing a short video here, not going to last much longer, is I'm going to share my screen with Paul, but also with everybody who will watch this few minutes that we're doing. I wanted to tell Paul the story of a former student of mine, Ryan North. He started this thing called Dinosaur Comics in my class when I was teaching entrepreneurship in the Sprott School of Business at Carleton University. And everybody in my class, Paul, all the students had to start a business, in the class. They actually had to start. And Ryan North, who was a brilliant guy, he's about 6'7", 6'8", nice looking young man at the time. He comes to me and he says, Bruce, Prof, I'm going to start a comic strip. I said, Ryan, I thought you were an IT guy. He said, well, yeah, I'm an IT, but I said, can you draw? He said, not at all. I can't draw at all. So I said, you're going to start a comic strip, and you can't draw. He said, no. So what he did was he created. You can see it on my screen, right?
Yeah, totally.
And so there's 6 panels here. This is the T-Rex. He's a big male chauvinist. And then he's got 2 female dinosaurs, this little thing here and this one here. So the 2 females and the male. So this is just clip art. And these are six panels, Paul, that never change. The panels every day are the same. Okay. The only thing that changes is the dialogue and the interplay between these 3 dinosaurs, 2 females and 1 male. It's quite funny. So he started this, and it just took off. And how did he market it? So what he did was he created these little cutouts of the T-Rex, and and he's, you know, he's 6'7" or 6'8", and he cut out you know, and he let's see if it still works. And he bought the domain name poo.ca.
Yeah.
It still works. Okay, I just put it in here. Okay, here's the proof. And poo.ca, here we are 20 years later, still results. So he cut out this little green dinosaur. He put the URL poo.ca, and he went around the university, and he was so tall he would get on a desk and he would put it on the ceiling. So there you are in a Prof Bruce lecture, and you go back like this, you're kind of bored maybe, and you're looking at him, and you see a T-Rex and it says poo.ca. And so people started to find.
Oh, wow.
And so I think he has applied to the Guinness Book of Records for the longest published daily comic strip ever, where the art is the same.
And he comes up with his own content, eh?
He does. So a few years after he graduated, Ryan was, I think, selling about $10,000 a month of merchandise based on this comic strip. People, you know, as they get to know it a little bit better, the first time you read it, you think not much of it, but as you get to know it, you realize there's a really smart person behind this. And so Ryan would get up in the morning, he'd create his comic strip dialogue for the day, he'd put it up, he'd get some orders in for T-shirts. You know, he could buy a T-shirt like your family is made out of meat, signed by the T-Rex. You know, fun stuff like that. And pretty soon he was selling $10,000 a month in merchandise and books. Then after that, he decided that he was going to do To Be or Not to Be, a changeable or choosable path adventure. And he put that on Kickstarter, hoping to raise $20,000. This was in the early days of Kickstarter. And instead of raising $20,000, parents were super keen on getting, you know, Shakespeare, but where the kid could actually, you know, change some things,
right,
and choose his or her path through the through Hamlet. And so instead of raising $20,000, he ended up with, I think, $540,000 US.
Wow.
Yeah, and he said, "Holy smokes!" So now he goes to Comic-Con, and when he goes to Comic-Con, you know what Comic-Con is, right?
Yes. Some of our artists go there.
Yeah, he's mobbed, right? I mean, like, he's like this superstar, and you know, and even my students are getting older. Ryan must be close to 40 now. He was 22 or 23 when he was in my class, but he's getting close to that. And then after that, because he's an IT guy, he started something called ProjectWonderful.com.
Okay.
ProjectWonderful.com. I'll see if I can go there now and show everybody. Sorry, I'll have to type it in. Wonderful.com is a democratic, let's see if it'll resolve. ProjectWonderful.com is a democratic advertising platform that Ryan created. And what he did with it was he reversed out the work to the advertisers. So let's say, Paul, you wanted to put some advertising on your website and you wanted to get paid for that. I might have lost my internet connection. No, it's still going. We're talking. So the way it works, it's having trouble resolving. So I'm going to stop sharing and prove myself a liar. And we're still recording here, Paul, so I better be careful what I say. But ProjectWonderful.com, it reverses out the work to the advertiser. So let's say you ran a snowboard, you know, a website.
Right.
A snowboard manufacturer. So I could come onto your site and I could say, oh, I'd really like this traffic on the site. So I could say, I'm willing to take this space on Paul's snowboard website, and I'm willing to pay $5 a day to be on your website. And that is, in their ads, you'll see, you know, Brucey's snowboards, you know, and you know, $5 brought to you by Project Wonderful. And somebody else who likes your site can come on and outbid me, so they can knock me off.
Okay.
And so rather than you as the content creator or the website manager setting a price and trying to get ads, you allow the advertiser to tell you what he or she or they are going to pay. And they bid against each other, so it can go up, and if your traffic goes down, it can also go down. It's been very successful. And he told me, Ryan told me, that after he launched Project Wonderful, it was profitable within 10 days. So the reason I tell you this story is that it's my belief, and I think you agree, that people who, children who learn art through you, this will benefit them as they become older. And some people come to art, like Ryan did, in a very peculiar manner as an adult. And these are children that you're teaching and your group is teaching that have an opportunity to develop these skills at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right?
Well, I'd love to meet him. We have a big comic book curriculum, and it would be neat for kids to see what can happen if you do follow the arts, right?
Right. And I think that's really important for your future to make sure that parents understand there is a connection, that it's not just a nice thing to have, that creativity has been a huge part of my life. And one of the things I wanted to show you, and this was a little self-serving, was I showed you the story of Inky Pinky and the Troublesome Tattoo, something I wrote for my 2 little grandsons. But the reason I wanted to show it to you, other than the fact I'm proud of the story for my kids, is that in this book is a craft. And can you see it up here? It's called Bananas.
No.
Oh, shoot, I have to share my screen with you. I apologize.
No worries.
This is horrible. So here's the true story of Inky, Pinky, and the Troublesome Tattoos. Here's Inky, here's Pinky. And this is my little superhero, as I explained earlier, Paul. Inky, his superpower is that he can make people happy.
Okay.
The reason I wanted to show you this is that included in the book is the game Bananas. It's a game I invented when my 5 kids were little. And here's the board. And so what it is it's a game, it's called Bananas, where you have players and you have to move your pieces, through the board to get to here.
What age group?
This would be ages kind of 7 to 12.
Oh, wow.
But what makes this game a little bit different, okay, is that I invented the game called Bananas in order to teach my own kids the power of positive and negative numbers. So let's say you and I were playing this game, and you are this little piece here, I'm this little piece, and you roll, say, double 4s. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and at the top of the board, you'll see there's a little bit of a vine, and you swing across. And whenever you get to these squares here, you swing across. So
okay, yeah.
So there you go. But
very creative.
What's really interesting about this game is that 1, 2, and 3 are negative numbers. So let's say you had rolled a 5 and a 1. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you go, oh, rats, I have to go backwards because I've got a 1. A 1 is a negative number. So you go backwards, but if you land on this square with a vine, you swing across. So sometimes negative numbers can be good.
Wow.
So I created this game, and the rules are in here. And I put in this book, the board itself. So you could, for example, I'm going to send this to you after our conversation is over. You can print this out, and in color, I hope. And you have your board, and you have the rules, you have the tokens, and you even have dice that you can cut out.
Okay. Yeah.
So, you have 2 kids, right? A 5-year-old and I think a 9-year-old.
A 9-year-old, yeah. So, making math fun, eh?
So you can cut out the dice and you crumple up a little piece of paper and you put it inside the dice so that they're weighted. And so you can make your own dice, make your own board, make your own pieces, play a game that teaches you the power of positive and negative numbers. And that's another part of, I think, the long-term mission for you is not just to teach children art as a visual art. Art is in so many things, right. Obviously music, and it's in crafts, it's in games, it's in so many things. And imagine the ability now to email something like this to somebody all across the world, and if they can print it out and have a pair of scissors and a glue gun, they can make their own game.
Right. That's brilliant. Very creative.
So I think we've beaten this to death, and I'm going to stop the recording now in a second, but I wanted the last word to be to you, Paul, and again, just tell people one more time how they could get involved.
Our website is Artshine.ca, and we are we're actually bringing on quite a few schools for the fall, and these classes run during lunch or after school in French, Catholic, public, private.
Wow.
We have over 120 schools starting up in the fall and growing every year. And your kids get to bring home a beautiful piece of art every time they take a lesson. And the biggest part, I'm very excited because we are offering this across Canada, is the subscription service. And that's also on that same website.
And how do people get involved? I mean, if it's okay with you, I'm going to tell people they can go and get involved and get a subscription service. How do they do that?
They just need to sign up and pre-order at Artshine.ca.
So, sorry, I cut you off. How do they do that?
They just need to sign up on Artshine.ca and pre-order for January 2020.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you.